Gemini, have you ever wondered why your mind never seems to be at peace? Why you always feel as if you're living in two worlds, one yearning for peace, and the other burning with the desire for freedom, exploration, and to understand something far beyond the ordinary. You feel everything so deeply, yet you hide your emotions behind smiles, witty words, or moments of pretending that you're fine. People see you as intelligent and quick-witted, but they don't realize that behind those eyes lies a soul constantly searching for balance between two opposing halves within. Perhaps you've often felt like you understand everyone, yet no one truly understands you. You're unsure whether you're walking the right path or just trying to please someone else. And maybe you don't even realize it. But all those contradictions, those silent spaces between reason and emotion, between truth and what you're forced to say, are the karmic lessons your Gemini soul carries. Every time you lie to avoid causing pain, every time you stay silent even when your heart wants to speak, you owe yourself a piece of truth. But when your Gemini soul begins to live honestly, speak truthfully, and love sincerely, that's when the door of karma begins to open. Because the journey of Gemini isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming real. To dare to speak the truth, even when your voice trembles. To trust your emotions, even when your mind tells you not to. To stop dividing yourself between who they expect you to be and who your soul truly is. When you begin to live this way, the first miracle of freedom will unfold. Now, take a deep breath, pour yourself a cup of tea or your favorite coffee, and let's begin this conversation. Just you, me, and the messages the universe is about to share with Gemini. Part 1. Decoding the origin of Gemini's karmic debt. Gemini, have you ever felt like you're living in two worlds at once? One world of logic where you analyze, understand, and decode everything with your sharp intellect. And another world where your heart simply wants to be loved, understood, and trusted without needing to explain itself. These two worlds coexist within you, sometimes blending beautifully, other times clashing so intensely that it leaves you exhausted. You can see both sides of every situation, but that very gift often traps you in a spiral of doubt. Doubting yourself, doubting your emotions, doubting whether anyone truly understands you. From lifetimes past, the Gemini soul has carried a karmic debt tied to truth and words. You were once someone with the power of persuasion, using words as a weapon, a tool of influence. You knew how to make others believe what you said, and sometimes you even began to believe in your own creations. In that lifetime, you may have guided others in the wrong direction, not out of malice, but because you hadn't yet understood the true power of language. Every word, every thought, every distortion of truth, even the smallest one, leaves an energetic imprint on the soul. And in this lifetime, you were sent to learn responsibility through truth, to use your voice as light, not as a mask. There are times when you feel like you're wearing two masks, one for the world and one for yourself. You speak to be heard, but rarely feel understood. You share to connect, yet sometimes feel emptier after the conversation ends. That's because your soul is split between the mind and the heart, one seeking safety, the other craving authenticity. And each time you choose to please others instead of speaking your truth, karma begins to move. It doesn't punish, it reminds. It makes you feel lost, as if a part of you disappears in conversations where you speak the most. Gemini, your path isn't about learning to speak less, it's about learning to speak what truly matters, from the heart. Silence can also be a language, but only when it comes from understanding, not fear. You don't need to prove your intelligence or charm to be loved. The universe never asked you to be perfect, only to be honest with yourself. Every time you dare to speak your truth, even with a trembling voice. You free a part of your soul that once suffocated in lies. Gemini, every time you silence your truth to please others, or speak just to be heard, instead of understood, your soul whispers, "It's time to remember why you came here." Remember, you came into this world not just to speak, but to inspire through truth. Your words can heal or harm, and when you choose to speak from light, karma begins to dissolve. If you feel this message resonates with your soul, comment, "I'm ready to speak my truth," and hit subscribe so you don't miss the messages guiding you back to your authentic self. Because this isn't just a story about astrology. It's the journey of the Gemini soul, learning to speak, live, and love in truth. Part 2. The deeper nature of Gemini's karma, the inner conflict. Gemini, if there's something that sets you apart from the other 11 zodiac signs, it's the constant liveliness of your mind. You are the traveler between two worlds, both the dreamer and the awakened one, both the empath and the skeptic, both longing for connection and afraid of being bound. Everything within you is always in motion, never still, and sometimes that very movement becomes an invisible chain, keeping you from ever feeling truly at peace. The essence of Gemini's karma doesn't lie in outer actions, but in the silent battle between the two halves of your soul. One side is the mind, sharp, quick, and able to navigate any situation. The other is emotion, tender, deep, yearning to be felt and understood. These two are like drumbeats slightly out of sync, each trying to lead you in its own direction. There are moments when you want to follow your heart, but your mind interrupts. Don't be foolish. Don't be weak. Then there are times you want to let go and trust, but the logical part of you pulls you back into doubt. And so, you live in tension between light and shadow, truth and performance, love and control. In previous lifetimes, the Gemini soul used the power of knowledge and words to influence the world. You were eloquent, persuasive, able to read minds, and bend situations in your favor. But through that experience, you learned to speak cleverly instead of speak truthfully, to use intelligence for protection rather than honesty for connection. That created a fracture in your soul, a place where truth became hidden beneath the mist of reason. And in this lifetime, you were sent back to heal that fracture. That's why your life often overflows with mirror relationships. The universe sends you people and situations that act as reflections they lie, so you can learn to be truthful. They betray you, so you can learn to trust yourself. They misunderstand you, so you can learn to communicate from the heart, not from fear. Each time you're hurt, the universe isn't punishing you. It's guiding you closer to your own inner union. The contradiction you carry within isn't a flaw, it's your soul's classroom. Gemini was born with two opposing forces, not to live divided, but to learn harmony. When you stop trying to pick a side, when you begin to listen to both inner voices, the rational and the emotional, you'll realize they were never enemies. They've both been trying to protect you in their own ways. One wants you safe, the other wants you real. And when you allow both to exist in mutual respect, a miracle happens. Your intellect and your emotions begin to speak the same language. In that moment, you no longer need to prove what's right or wrong. You no longer need others to understand you, because you already understand yourself. Your intelligence stops being a wall and becomes a bridge between your heart and the world. You start speaking words that are both wise and sincere, and people can feel the authenticity in your voice. That's when karma begins to melt, not because you're forcing yourself to change, but because you're allowing yourself to be whole. Remember, Gemini wasn't born to be stable in the way others expect. Your purpose is to find peace within movement, stillness within chaos, and to hear your soul's voice even when the world gets loud. When you truly understand that, your contradictions stop being burdens. They become wings, allowing you to see life from many angles, where every question eventually leads back to love and truth. If you've ever felt like you're living between two worlds, write, "I choose inner harmony" in the comments to mark the moment you begin to unify yourself. And don't forget to subscribe to continue this journey of Gemini's soul awakening, where you learn to turn conflict into power and let your heart guide the brilliance of your mind. Part 3. Different karmic paths of Gemini, based on birth dates. Gemini. You may have heard that every soul carries its own karmic map, a subtle journey the universe has drawn so that we can learn what we have yet to understand. And while all Geminis are born under the same symbol of intellect and freedom, the timing of your arrival in this world colors your karmic lesson differently, like three branches of the same river, all flowing toward the same ocean of truth. Gemini born from May 21, May 31. The karma of truth and communication. Early season Geminis carry the purest essence of this sign: quick-witted, curious, eloquent, and capable of connecting worlds through words. But because words are your greatest weapon, you often find yourself saying what pleases others rather than what you truly feel. At times, you hide your real emotions behind humor, or you distract others with logic. In this lifetime, you've been sent to rediscover the power of sincerity, to understand that your true strength doesn't lie in persuasion, but in your ability to touch hearts through truth. The universe will test you through moments of being misunderstood, silenced, or having your words twisted not to wound you, but to teach you that when you speak your truth, your soul's frequency becomes so clear and powerful that nothing can distort it. Gemini born from June 1, June 10. The karma of the mind and choices. Mid-season Geminis are souls who've lived many lifetimes of indecision. You possess a sharp mind that sees multiple directions at once, and that very gift often traps you in the labyrinth of overthinking. In past lives, you used intellect to control outcomes, avoiding emotional choices. Now, you've been reborn to trust your intuition, that quiet, precise inner voice within you. The universe will place you in situations where you must decide without having all the facts. You'll be asked to feel your way through, not analyze. When you dare to choose through intuition without needing proof, without fearing mistakes, karma begins to dissolve. Because your true lesson is to trust the rhythm of your heart more than the noise of your thoughts. Once you do, life becomes as light as air, no longer trapped in right or wrong, but flowing freely in the dance of alignment or resistance. Gemini born from June 11, June 20. The karma of emotion and connection. You are the late-season Gemini souls who've journeyed through lifetimes of love, attachment, and loss. In this lifetime, you are learning to love through presence, not through promises or intellect. You often attract deep, complex relationships, the kind that require you to reveal your most vulnerable self. Many Geminis in this group tend to love with their minds, analyzing, reasoning, trying to translate emotion into logic. But love cannot be decoded. It can only be felt. Your soul's lesson is to stay present in the moment, without needing to explain, simply to be there fully. When you stop speaking and start listening with your heart, you'll realize you've always been loved more deeply than you ever imagined. And no matter which group you belong to, all Geminis share one universal soul lesson. Freedom doesn't come from escaping. It comes from living truthfully. When you dare to face the truth in your words, your choices, and your emotions, you free yourself from the cycles of old karma. Share your birth date in the comments and see which Gemini group you belong to receive the personal message the universe has prepared for you. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapters of Gemini's karmic decoding, where every word leads you closer to your true self. Part 4. The Journey of Karmic Release. When the mind meets the heart. Gemini. There are moments in your life when it feels as if the universe is playing games with you. Everything you once believed in, everything you thought you understood, suddenly collapses without reason or explanation. People you trusted may turn away. Relationships that once felt profound may fall into silence. You ask, why? But no answer comes. And when your mind can no longer save you, when every analysis loses its meaning, that's when your karmic lesson begins. Because Gemini was born not just to understand, but to feel. Your soul is intelligent. It can read the energy of others, see beyond words, actions, and even the unspoken. But because of this sensitivity, you often carry the burden of having to decode everything. When things don't go as expected, you panic. You search for reasons, dissect emotions, and analyze endlessly just to regain a sense of control. Yet the universe doesn't want you to figure it out, it wants you to experience it. So it sends you into illogical situations where your heart and your mind move in opposite directions to show you that not everything needs an explanation. Some things simply need to be felt. Perhaps you've been misunderstood, betrayed, or met with silence. You don't understand what you did wrong. But if you look deeper, you'll see all those wounds lead to the same lesson. Being honest with your emotions. Every time you're hurting but still choose to speak truthfully, still choose kindness, still choose to believe in goodness, you are repaying the karmic debt your soul carries. Because Gemini's karma isn't in what they say, but in what they feel and suppress. The journey of karmic release for Gemini is the courageous act of facing yourself. You learn to pause amid the noise of your thoughts and listen to the rhythm of your heart. You learn to admit that sometimes you're not okay, that you're scared, that you're hurting. And instead of using logic to deny it, you learn to embrace those emotions gently. That is the first step toward inner freedom. To be real, not to be right. Sometimes truth isn't what you say, it's the energy behind your words. An honest voice, even trembling, can heal, but silence born from fear can create a distance too wide to cross. That's why the universe keeps testing you, not to make you wiser, but to make you truer. When your mind and heart finally meet, something miraculous happens. The questions stop mattering. You no longer need to know why something happened. You only need to see who it helped you become. When you choose honesty over comfort, false people naturally fall away. When you choose to love even after being hurt, you touch the vibration of forgiveness, the highest frequency of the Gemini soul. And when your silence comes not from fear, but from peace, that's when your karma is paid in light. Gemini, your soul doesn't need to be right, it only needs to be real. Every time you dare to speak what your heart truly feels, even if no one understands, you move one step closer to freedom. Because freedom isn't rising above pain, it's standing within it, and still choosing to be true. If you're in a season of challenges yet still choose honesty, comment, "I choose truth over fear," as your declaration to the universe that you've chosen the path of light. And don't forget to subscribe to continue this journey of healing with the Gemini community, where souls who dare to live authentically are walking together through the darkness toward the dawn of their own truth. Part 5. Signs that Gemini has cleared their karmic debt. There comes a moment that every Gemini soul eventually reaches the moment when the mind grows quiet, the heart stops trembling, and you suddenly realize you no longer need to force yourself to understand everything. Everything becomes effortlessly clear, light as the morning breeze. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. When karma is finally paid, your soul becomes transparent, as though the mist that once clouded your vision has completely lifted, leaving only stillness behind. The first sign that Gemini has freed themselves from the karmic cycle is the stillness of the mind. You no longer battle with yourself. No more inner debates between should and shouldn't, right and wrong. The voices inside you, once chaotic and contradictory, now move in harmony. You begin to realize that truth doesn't need defending, it simply is. The people who once made you anxious, the situations that once kept you awake at night, have faded into memories. You're no longer trapped in analysis or self-defense. Instead, you choose silence, not from surrender, but from peace, because you've come to understand one profound truth. What is meant for me will never leave me. The second sign appears when toxic connections begin to fall away naturally. You no longer need to cut cords or run away. It all unfolds on its own. Those who only reached out when they needed something, those who spoke but never listened, start to drift from your energy field. There are no tears, no drama, only gentle release. And then new people enter, the kind who truly listen, who see you without needing you to prove yourself. They speak to you through energy, through their eyes, through the understanding you've always longed for. It's within these connections that you realize you've become a magnet for authenticity, because only when you live in truth can the universe send you people who are true. The third and most powerful sign, you feel free without needing to explain yourself. You no longer try to make others understand you, nor do you fear being misunderstood. You've discovered that your energy now speaks louder than words. Your very presence communicates trust, peace, and wisdom effortlessly. You've stepped into the vibration of an inspirer, not through knowledge, but through the frequency of truth. This is the awakening stage of the healer messenger, the one who heals through words and wisdom. Every time you write, speak, share, or create, the energy of your soul ripples outward, like a breeze carrying light. You no longer speak to be heard. You speak because the light within you seeks to be expressed. Opportunities now flow to you naturally at the right time, in alignment with your energy. You attract souls ready to heal alongside you. You've become a conduit for truth, and your words carry the vibration that awakens others. Gemini, if you feel a quietness within you, unlike anything before that's not emptiness, it's liberation. When you stop seeking answers outside and begin trusting your inner knowing, when you no longer need validation but still know your worth, that's the moment you've crossed the boundary of karma and entered freedom. If you feel that peace within you, comment, "My mind is free, my truth is clear," as a declaration to the universe that you are ready to live as your truest self. And don't forget to subscribe, to join the Awakened Gemini Collective, where souls who have mastered the lesson of truth are now co-writing a new chapter of light together. Part 6. The transformation after Gemini clears their karma. There is a miraculous moment in the journey of the Gemini soul, a moment when every conflict dissolves, every question grows silent, and you suddenly realize you've come home to yourself. No more exhausting inner debates. No more need to prove anything to the world. Your mind becomes clear, your heart feels light, and at the intersection of intellect and emotion, Gemini is reborn. When karmic debts are cleared, Gemini becomes more whole and radiant than ever before. You no longer need to prove your intelligence, because now you understand that true wisdom isn't meant to impress, it's meant to heal. Every word you speak, every thought you share, carries guiding energy. People are drawn to you not because of how well you speak, but because they can feel peace in every word, every breath, every pause. You become a calming breeze in a noisy world, one who doesn't just speak, but makes others want to listen. You speak less, yet every word you say carries the weight of truth and experience. You no longer search for answers out there because you've discovered that every answer lives within you. Once, you believed intelligence could control your life. Now, you know that intellect is merely a tool, and the heart is the true compass. When the mind and the heart unite, fear disappears. Fear of being wrong. Fear of being misunderstood. You act not to be right, but to be real. And that authenticity is what makes you shine. Your relationships also transform. The old debates where everyone spoke, but no one listened, are replaced by mutual respect and understanding. You no longer seek those who agree with you, but those who can listen with their hearts. You realize that love isn't about making someone understand you. It's about allowing them to be themselves, while giving yourself that same freedom. In this way, every relationship becomes a space of healing, no longer a battlefield of egos. Gemini is no longer the two-faced sign the world once labeled you as. You have become a two-light soul, one light of intellect, one light of emotion. Together, they merge into harmony, allowing you to see life from countless angles while staying centered in peace. You understand that life isn't just black and white. It holds millions of shades of awareness, empathy, and love. And your gift of seeing both sides makes you a bridge between humanity and the divine. At this stage, you step into your role as the divine communicator. Your words no longer just convey information, they carry energy. Your ideas are not mere thoughts, they are seeds planted in the hearts of others. Your presence inspires people to believe they too can change, they too can heal. And the beauty is you don't even try, you simply are. And the light of your soul radiates naturally. When you reach this point, Gemini, you realize your journey was never about escaping karma, but about becoming light within your own darkness. From heartbreak, you've learned compassion. From misunderstanding, you've learned empathy. From silence, you've learned the sacred timing of words. Now, you live not to prove, but to inspire. You no longer chase change, you create it. If you feel yourself entering this stage, one of peace, clarity, and freedom, leave a comment saying, "I am free. I am whole. I am Gemini," as your declaration to the universe that you have completed your karmic journey. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to receive divine messages that keep your frequency at its highest light. Because now, you are no longer just Gemini. You are the voice of light within the universe. Dear Gemini, if you've made it this far, you can probably feel it. Everything you've been through was never meaningless. Every misunderstanding, every wound, every long night spent in conversation with your own soul, each was a perfect fragment, leading you toward the wiser version of yourself that exists today. The journey of Gemini isn't just about repaying a karmic debt, it's about returning to your inner truth, realizing that you never needed to chase any other light, because that light has always lived within you. The greatest lesson the Gemini soul brings to this world is this: freedom doesn't come from knowing all the answers. It comes from daring to live in truth, with the answers within. When you pause to listen, to feel, to choose honesty over fear, that's when you free yourself from every cycle of the past. Because karma doesn't come to punish, it comes to awaken. And you, through love, truth, and faith, have awakened yourself. From this moment on, let every word you speak carry the energy of healing. Let every action you take begin with sincerity. And remember, the universe never asked you to be perfect, only to be genuine and to keep shining. If this video has touched your heart, leave a comment sharing your feelings, or simply write, "I claim my Gemini freedom," as a declaration that you're ready to step into your next chapter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages the universe sends, especially for Gemini souls. Learning to speak truth, live truth, and love truth. Thank you for sharing this moment of connection with me today. Keep your inner light pure and warm. The world needs your energy more than you realize. I'll see you in the next video, where we continue the journey with the universe, with light, and with the beautiful soul of Gemini.